Buenas noches, gente. Quiero aclarar rápidamente que el Hangout de hoy es dedicado a la comunidad inglesa, del habla inglesa, tanto americana como obviamente anglosajona, digamos en general. Así que tal vez las personas que nos están escuchando en castellano sepan simplemente que va a ser un video que nosotros ya hemos hablado anteriormente, que tiene que ver con esta cuestión satelital. Así que no es nada que se hayan perdido. Pero vamos a hacer un switch y vamos a empezar a hablar en inglés, por eso estamos con nuestro amigo Antonio. Hello, Anthony, how are you doing?
I am doing very well. Hola a todos. I'm doing very well, thanks. This is going to be good because, like you said earlier, there isn't anybody really covering this in the English-speaking world. So I'm looking forward to this.
Yeah, that's right. I believe I see a lot of videos in the English community talking about satellite and that kind of things, but I didn't see anyone that have make deep analysis about the company Intelsat, which is a French company operating under ESA. ESA.
The European Space Agency.
Yeah, that's right. And there is a funny things about the rocket launched for Intelsat, because they are using the same images all the time. So that for me is a red flag, because how if you are a company like ESA, how you going to use all the time the same image? Because ESA
And also, when they're doing these things, they're showing it live, and there are people who are sitting there watching, going, "Oh wow, look at the rocket, look at all this," and it turns out this is pre-recorded, and they have shown it lots of times before.
Yeah, but a really long time ago started with this image, because it's not something about 2012, 2013. They started to use the same image about 2006.
Wow.
So we're talking about like 10 years back in time. We are not talking about 2 years ago or 3 years ago. So my objective of doing this in English, it's to speak about this issue, and also for give like a really big thanks to all the people that contribute to the ticket for me to go to the Flat Earth conference. So I'm going to start to making more continually English versions of my research. So because I really need to say thank you in any way, in some way, to all the people that.
Yes, but now would be a good time for you to tell everybody what happened to your major channel.
Yes, I have received my right now we are emitting from my secondary channel, like a backup channel, which is just simply my name, Irulanducci, because I have received a strike yesterday, because I uploading research about the shoot in Las Vegas, and for YouTube they don't like it. I don't know. The first guy who received a strike doing this kind of presenting this kind of information was Oliver Ibáñez. Oliver Ibáñez is a flat earther from Spain. He talked about the hoax of shooting in Las Vegas, and immediately he received a strike. But Oliver, he didn't make a lot of hangout videos, live. So for he was no problem. But for me, I like to do live videos. So YouTube strike me, and I have 3 months to. I need to wait 3 months until I can make streaming again. This is the warning that I received on 7th of October, and that was just only for the content. It's not for copyright or anything like that. It's the content, take a violation of the. of the
Yeah.
community YouTube manage. So they strike me directly, and I don't have any chance to remove that strike. So the only thing that I can do is wait 3 months until enable again to make live videos. So I changed to my secondary channel, and I'm start to transmitting live there, and then I downloading the video and I going to uploading in my main channel also.
Yeah. The biggest problem really is an inconvenience, but the biggest kind of problem, like real obstacle that they're placing by not allowing you to do it in your main channel is the communication that happens in the chats. Because through the chats, people make acquaintances, make friendships, make plans, and get together and do things. So when you reach a smaller number of people, because you're in a secondary channel, they've eliminated a lot of the possibility for that to happen, and
Yeah.
this is why they do it, because like you say, you can upload the whole hangout later on your major channel, but they don't let you stream it live.
Yeah, that's right.
This is
That's right. In
Yeah.
fact, there is this is in Spanish version, but there some follower of my channel sent me this Wikipedia page when it's talking about the Streisand effect. And the Streisand effect is like a phenomenon on internet that they try to censorship us, but in fact it have the opposite reaction. They try to censor you, but when you communicate to your people, hey, they are censorship me, sorry for the English, it's immediately take the opposite effect, because the people start to think and say, okay, if this guy was censored, it's because the maybe the information that he present, it's it's a real or inconvenient for the elite.
People use it like clickbait. I don't know if you know the words clickbait.
No,
Es
I
como
didn't.
cuando estás pescando,
Yeah.
es
When you are
para
fishing.
engañar.
Okay,
es para
yes.
and they write banned on YouTube con su vídeo, lo que sea, banned on YouTube. Y la gente lo mira, and the people look because they see, banned on YouTube is because of this, the Streisand effect. It works. But there's nothing more they can do. They cannot just sit quietly and let us start to open their, problems. They don't like it when we do this.
No. They don't like it at all. Well, so that is my what happened to my main channel, and if you like, I'm going to stop sharing my webcam and I'm going past to share the screen. So
sure. I want to say saludos a Oliver Ibáñez. He's in the chat.
Okay. Oliver, if you want to join us, just make me, let me know with Skype so I can invite you. It's a pleasure, my friend. Oliver always, because when I start to make these videos live here in Argentina, I'm starting like really late, like 12 o'clock or 23 in the night. And in Europe, this is you know it very well, because anytime I invite you, for you are like 4 in the morning, right?
Yeah.
So,
but it's okay. Now it's only 1:20, so it's fine.
That's right. In fact, I have invited Bob from Globebuster, so maybe he can join us also. I was looking his show today in more early, a really nice show. So, well, let me put all the things together here. I'm gonna close this main page. I'm gonna close this one, and I'm going to jump.
Yeah, don't forget to check your Skype in case Oliver.
Yeah, that's right. Let me see. I don't have. No, Oliver is offline right now. So if he are hearing this,
yeah, it's here. It's 20. It's nearly 1:30 in the morning. In Barcelona, it's nearly 2:30 in the morning. You know,
Ah,
so
okay, 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 okay. Yeah, yeah. The last time, well, the video that I have censorship uh, was a video with Oliver. We are
yes,
talking with,
I watched the Hangout.
yeah. I was a hangout live with Oliver talking about the shooting in Las Vegas, and that video was the video that caused me this strike, because after the video of with Oliver, I make another video more compact, like an hour, also, and with the information, put it more clearly and more specific. And I just erase that video from my video list, because I don't want to have any more trouble, because if I receive two strike, I don't even can uploading videos. So,
Yeah,
you know
yeah. And
I
Oliver was explaining, for anybody who didn't see it. Oliver was also explaining that same thing in Barcelona. And this summer we had the situation in supposed situation in Barcelona. I was in Spain at the time. I saw some of it on the television news. It was a farce. It was ridiculous. And
yeah,
Oliver said the next day everybody's just walking around. If it's a crime scene, the police don't let you walk around. You know. So yeah,
that's
yeah.
right. Of the Barcelona false flag was really, a shock. We can clearly
Let,
see puppets on the street and all that kind of stuff.
let me let me tell you what I watched on the television news. I was in Spain, okay, and I watched this on the television news in Spain. This, I'm going to tell you what I watched. I was in a bar, so I didn't hear it very well,
Yeah.
okay. I was in a restaurant, actually, so I didn't hear it very well, but I could see. This is what I'm seeing: a guy running, and the sound of like fake bullets, bang, 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 uh, running, falling, bang, 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 turning, bang. And this is whilst the news presenter is explaining that it was very difficult to get him. This is what I'm seeing, okay? And then this guy sits and stands up and walks back to where he started running. And then they cut the transmission. Like, did more than one take. They did it here in the UK. I don't know if you know this. A black guy and an Asian guy with knives with blood, and they cut somebody's head, and they didn't. It was all for show. And they did two different takes, because in one of the takes they're supposed to have killed a guy in the street. Okay, so what was his name? Lee, whatever. Anyway, so they kill a guy in the street. This is the narrative, okay? And then they're explaining to somebody who's filming with a phone that they're doing this because of all the evil that the England is doing, and the West in the Middle East and all this. And in one of the takes of this, the guy saying those words, an old woman just walks past him like nothing, okay?
Huh.
Like, she doesn't care that they're making a film. She just walks past him. So they do a second take. He says the same thing, but this time without the woman, you know? It was a farce. It's ridiculous.
Yeah, totally, totally. Now, in fact, I think, if you make just a correlative timeline from the beginning of the 20th century, we have the first false flag for me was the Titanic. The Titanic, where
Yeah.
a lot of bankers, we are opposed to the Federal Reserve. Also, there was three people that put money on Tesla research, also go in the Titanic ship.
Oh, I did not know about that.
Yeah, yeah,
The
yeah,
the,
yeah.
the Tesla fund.
Yes, yes. In fact, I can show you for the people. I just have this in my cellular phone, but you can see maybe there is. Then I'm going to put a better image, but that was three millionaires which founded Nikola Tesla and opposed to Federal Research died in the Titanic, and there is a documental talking about this. Then after that comes the First World War, which is also false flag,
Yeah.
And after that comes the 99 crisis, economic crisis, which is also something that they made on purpose. Then
Yeah.
become the Second World War. Then come the Sputnik, the Cold War. Then come the Sputnik, and I think the only war that was for real, and where United States needs to really show the world that we are on the power. They lose like rats. Was Vietnam.
Yeah. Yes.
Maybe
Yeah.
Vietnam was the only real war in 20th century.
Wait. There were two. Because the other one, it goes quiet. People don't think so much about it because not so many films have been made. And it was America and England, and it was the Korean War.
The Korean War. That's right.
Yeah, they lost that.
They lost that.
Yes.
Yeah, exactly. So the rest of that, the rest of the world, of the wars in the world, they are all arranged. They are all made up. They are all tied together. They work together. So for the public, it's a war, but internally, they are just business. That, for me at least. And well, what I want to talking about and show to the English community, it's about this space agency called Ariane Space. And this begin because the last week I was a meeting live because I want to see if for this launch called VA239, I believe inside of me, okay, these people is going to show a different video, right? Because a lot of people is talking about the flat earth and all that kind of stuff. So I imagine that they are going to update themselves, because they can continually showing the same image. So I'm start to transmitting live, and for anyone who wants to see that, I just going to present the video. So if anyone have a doubt about that, they can check it. It's, of course, it's in Spanish. It's in the Spanish version, and was this video called the big satellite, the big which is the word for estafa in English?
Fraud.
The big fraud. Exactly.
Yes.
The part 5, because I have other 4 parts talking about satellites, was the one of the first topic that I cover in my channel. So I'm started to I was here in my work because it was a day of the week. I think was a Monday, or no, I think was Wednesday, in fact. So I'm just ending my work, and I see, because I'm subscribed to the Space Vid YouTube channel, so I see they are starting to transmit live, and that is important. If you see here, when I'm recording this, you can see in full screen, you can see here said live launch of Ariane 5 rocket with Intelsat 37E and the VSAT 4A. Okay, but this was recorded live. This is not the video that I'm going to put now. It's, of course, offline video, but when I see this was recorded live. So what I found, it's exactly this. This is the same video here, and of course they started, all the same image.
6, 5, 4.
Are you listening? What the sound? Yeah. Okay. Perfect.
Allumage Vulcain. Allumage des 2 EAP et décollage Ariane 239.
And this is live, okay? There are a lot of people that go there in the yeah, and we are going to make just a simply analysis of this situation, because the first thing that I noticed that they don't put immediately the telemetry, because they also they always down here they put immediately they share the telemetry, you know, that all numbers digital numbers that doesn't match with the reality, but there you go. But this time, yeah.
Baja el volumen del vídeo.
Okay.
Sí.
Okay.
Bien.
Bien.
Es que it was very. It was coming out about volume, your voice and his voice.
Okay, perfect. So, like always, they start to filming from the ground. You know, you can start to see these strange angles there. But the really amazing things comes when they supposedly are out in the outer space. So I'm going to make a little forward to the people that don't get boring. So they start to make the booster separation and all that kind of stuff. That the people, I going to start, you know, to post the video and explain a few things, if you allow me, my friend.
Sure.
And the first thing is, let me just remember where is the. I'm going to show you. I have all, you know, index by by. I have a lot of folders here in my hard drive, so. And I want to really give the thanks to the 130 people that are online right now for be here. I know that a lot of these are, you know, Spanish guys, so thanks to everyone. And I have this. Let me found that part, because when they are separating the boosters, a lot of people believe that that is something about, you know, 120 kilometers up there, right? But what is the problem with that? Because to escape, you know, the velocity escape to leave the Earth, you need to reach about 1700,000 miles per hour. This is the orbital velocity to escape the Earth. So you cannot separate the boosters until you reach a huge amount of velocity, because if not, you don't have any propulsion to escape the Earth. So when the people see this thing, when the people see this action of the booster separation of this massive rocket, because this is not a sounding rocket, this is a really heavy rocket. It's a lot of tons, you know, in this rocket. It's not just a sounding rocket like you use the velocity, you know, accumulating from the launch, and you say, okay, I reach Mach 5, Mach 6, because it's a, you know, lighter rocket. This is a really heavy one. So when this action happen, you are about like 90 miles up there. You can do it before, right? So the problem is there is not any device that for make you know, focus at 19 kilometers up there. That is a huge problem, because the company the company that film all these kind of launches called flight line. I'm going to try to, I don't know if I have here, flight line rocket film. Let me see if we can see. This is the web page, the official web page. So maybe if someone wants to make, you know, some kind of research and analysis, this is
a complaint. Say, stop tricking the world.
Yeah, that's right. Because this company film all the space launches, you know, from SpaceX, Blue Origin, NASA, ESA, all that. So they are very, you know, they know the business keep in family. That's maybe is the best word to describe this kind of things. So here you can see, if you like, for the people that wants to see a little deeper, here you can see all the launches and things that are filming, what is the technology they use and how they make it. But this kind of setup, you can film in at 120 kilometers up there. In fact, when you start to make a little comparisons, you can see things like, for example, here the space shuttle, in this point, I think, you know, reach only Mach 1, Mach 2, no more than that. So how can they reach there, in that point, exactly there? I can still see the ship. This is impossible to be at 100 kilometers up there. And you know how possible this ship can reach about 10,000 kilometers per hour, 15,000 kilometers per hour at that point? It's like it don't have any sense. But they separate the boosters. So if they separate the boosters, they must be to escape the Earth at really high velocities and really high up in the atmosphere. But you
also, sorry, Iru,
yeah.
Remember the Concorde?
Yes, the plane Concorde.
The British plane. Yes. It had a very pointy nose, like a fighter jet.
Exactly.
Because it goes so fast. This thing doesn't have a pointy nose.
No.
This thing is very blunt, very round nose.
Yeah.
It's absurdo. Absurd.
Totally.
Look.
Totally. This is not aerodynamic, and that is. I just talking very briefly when I was invited to Globebuster show, but can you imagine you make all this anatomy of the ship to try to fight with air, right? And when you start to go up, you're gonna find that up there are gases 6 times more heavy than the air. So that is why they make the rockets do this kind of curve, because if they go up, they're gonna have a really big resistance, you know, and they're gonna have a really big stress in their component. So I don't think they can leave the Earth with that kind of condition up there. So in fact, if you start to make a little comparison, here you can see, for example, a plane filming from the ground with a telescope. This is me here, and when you start to make this comparison, you can see like a plane taken from ground with a telescope, and the SpaceX rockets, the NASA space shuttle, and it's, you know, there is a lot of difference in size. Of course, this plane could be at 10 kilometers up there, or maybe more or less, because maybe this plane is going to landing in some airport near where the telescope is. But when you see the zoom out of the telescope, because it's filming with the camera, you can see up there is nothing. You know, the plane disappear. They can't film in because they follow in that kind of scenario. And when you compare with the rest of the rocket launches that the NASA show us, you can see there is not a lot of difference in size. So for me, that is why they never can get so up before they leave the boosters. So that is the first thing. So when you look in this kind of situation here, I don't believe this could be at 100 kilometers up there. I think, in fact, maybe that is why they filming at night. Because if you film it at night, you have nothing to make a reference, So after that, you can see this tiny point there, what supposedly is the rocket going up. The booster disappear because the fuel is exhaust, so you can see anymore. And remember, this was of course live video, so there is start to, and here is when you can see that what we talking is real, because this point is still up there, and when the telemetry appears down in the screen, they tell you they are at 100 kilometers. So all the analysis that we make a few minutes ago must be like that, because they are in 2.21 kilometers per second. I don't know exactly if I convert that 2 kilometers per second to kilometers per hour. Right now they are going to 7,020 and 200 kilometers per hour in that moment.
so about 10 times faster than the speed of sound.
Yes, that's right, my friend. they are amazing, they have a really good technology, because they are going at this speed.
Wait, disculpa, no, it's kilometers, so no, maybe about 6 times faster than the speed of sound.
Yes,
that was
six
miles.
times. That's right, right. Which is, it's not just that. It's also, if you compare, for example, the time that this thing took to go up there, because when they put the counter, I think they start to counting from the beginning of the rocket's start, no? So
yeah,
they reach like 3 minutes to reach this 10 kilometers. And when you compare this with another launch for sounding rockets, a sounding rocket which is really so lighter. Let me show you one example too. For example, I have here, and I like to try to show everything I talk, so there is no the trolls, because if not, the trolls all the time is like they think we are inventing, make these kind of things to
and when we tell them, look at what ESA and look at what NASA is inventing, they say no, they are not inventing it. It's like yes, they are
exactly. So for example, this is from the Germany company, the Matthews, and this is really lighter, and this thin rocket reach about 6 times the speed of sound. And look at the size of that. It's a really,
and look at how it goes. Look at how it goes from the ground.
Yeah.
How it takes off. It doesn't take off slow.
No, this is a very fast one. And this rocket take about 1 minute to reach the 100 kilometers. So this kind of massive rocket taking only 2 minutes and a half to reach the same altitude of these lighter ones. It's really, look, right now, after 1 minute and 20 seconds, this lighter rocket is in Mach 6.5 and still don't reach the 100 kilometers. So when this rocket reach about here, is about the 100 kilometers, have passed like 1 minute and 40 seconds, like a half of this one, and this is really more heavy than that one. So after in fact, the distance right now it is about 185 kilometers. And here is when they start to make this exchange, when they start to use this kind of footage. First of all, they change a few things, because right now they show the sun
Wow.
behind the earth in this the computer generated image. No, it's
This is terrible.
yeah, I can do it, but much better, you know. But let me show. Let me just put side by side what I'm talking about. I have it here, and we're talking about. I have a video, right? I think it's. I'm just looking in the other monitor. What I'm talking about is this. You know, all these missions. Anyone if anyone have a doubt about this, they can research for their own. All these missions, they use the same image, the same footage. Yeah,
Exactly.
Yes.
And look, you have RT, so Russia Today. You have various different.
Yes. And for example, I can show you right now. For example, I'm going to open. Even this was from Korea, I think. Yes. Let me just open this to see if I. For example, this was Ariane. This is what I'm telling you before. They, for example, in this kind of launch, they put the telemetry almost immediately after the launch of the rocket. Yeah. They start to put in, they start to counting about the 6 kilometers in altitude. And this is the VA236 launch. And when they going to show you to show us that computer image, they do the same, the same thing. But this is the funny part. Because sometimes they show you, they show us this kind of footage that also is the same all the time. Then I'm going to show you, but let me just go into this part. And the first thing you maybe don't notice, but here is a daylight, okay, and here is night. So what's going on?
Don't notice this. Just pretend like the sky is blue or the blue sky is black. Just whichever one.
Yeah, but
whichever one. Yeah.
Yes, but the launch start at night.
Yeah.
Well,
the video
you can see you can see this blue sky, but it's night. This is not the some kind of dusk. Okay, you can say okay, maybe up there, because the light of the sun coming, So here start the funny thing. When they go up 100 and they show us this image, okay, at 120 kilometers. So I'm gonna leave this just for comparison purposes. I'm gonna leave here, and right now they are showing this kind of computer simulation, and you maybe wait to show us the real footage, and what they show us is exactly the same. So
yeah.
You say, what's going on? How the people can buy this?
What a strange coincidence, no? All of them, the same cloud, the same
God rays,
everything
is exactly the same one. There is no any difference at all. It's the same.
So this is like legitimate grounds for fraud charges against the ESA.
That is, I think, the most important topic here, because when you I can imagine, for example, I am a third party country, so I contact the
Yeah.
ESA space agency, so I want to put a nano satellite or satellite, and they invite me to go to France to see the launch, and all the this kind of protocol thing. I'm waiting to show me at least in one part of the rocket launch a real image. So all the people that are there, they take this footage like a real image from that launch, and there is not. And in the rest of the video, they don't show it nothing real. So, for example, if I leave this capsule go down, you can see there is the same movements, It's the same. But it's the same in all of these ones also. There is not just one. So in all these missions, all the satellites, which are from DirecTV, SpaceX satellites, Korean satellite, Japanese satellite, all that ones,
yes,
they are not up there.
Or at least not up there by a rocket.
Or not up there, exactly. So this is a really big fraud, a really big one. And who anyone wants to deny this kind of evidence is because they are totally in a fanatic, position. Because if you start to look in, this is official YouTube pages. This is not, and here you can see the people are doing nothing. They just do nothing. Nobody, there is no worries about if the satellite go down. In fact, they tell you like, well, the satellite enter in automatic procedurement. so automatic,
People should look at footage, find footage of a submarine command or any real military operation, okay? And you watch the people who are basically operating and monitoring the equipment. They don't sit like this.
No.
They don't sit, they don't stand like, they are paying attention. Then
All
you can
the
tell
time.
these, yeah.
Yeah, all the time. In fact, they have supervisors back, at the back of the operation system. They are all time checking things and like kind of that. These people, they magically they enter in this automatic procedurement. So they just they don't do nothing. In fact, I'm going to show you a little compilation about these rocket launches, which is I have here, and you can see you can see here all the missions. They are showing all the same thing. At first they show us the computer generated image, and then they pass to the same footage, and you can see there is different missions, not just for the name. You can see it, for example, in the time when because this information is and another layer, based on real when they push the button to start the launch. But the image, it's just an editing. They in fact, for example, here they are at 11.8 kilometers up there. Now in this video is 11.6 kilometers. This is about 112 kilometers. This is about 120 kilometers. But the footage is all the same. So this is a big fraud.
Mm-hmm.
This is and that is why I think that the people in the flat earth community, we don't believe that it's any one of satellites up there. There is any satellite up there. Because all the company do the same thing. If you start to research, you're gonna see that the Japanese company also make this. Look at that. Look at this. Even this footage is the same footage in all the missions.
It's all the same fraud everywhere. It's wow.
Yes, that's right. Okay. Bob, he go out to dinner, so he
Okay.
he have a from a customer tomorrow. Okay, let me just respond. Bye.
No problem.
Bye. So I think this is a really serious things to have in mind. In fact, if I have here, for example, I have prepared, this is from the Soyuz launch. This is a one with rocket launch for Soyuz. This is from
Iru,
yeah
Iru, disculpa. This is why I think the Americans they closed down the shuttle, and now they use the Soyuz. Because if they were still using the shuttle, then the American public, the American taxpayer, would be able to conduct a class action lawsuit against NASA for fraud.
Yes.
But now they can't, because some of it is with Russia. And how do you do that? You know, you can't take two countries with the same lawsuit. It's not going to work.
Exactly. Yeah. They have all these legal strategies, that is and another thing is the money that they make these kind of big transactions of money, because I think the one seat on the Soyuz is like $60 million or something like that. It's not a cheap like flying in the plane. It's very expensive ticket. Go
And
I don't know where, but
yeah, but this is important. These are not fake transactions.
No.
These are real transactions.
That's
so
right.
the big question is, where are they spending the money? Because
that's right.
The money is not burning in an oven. The money is being spent somewhere. It is going somewhere.
Yeah.
Is it going to the chemtrails? Like, somebody's paying for the chemtrails, and there's no chance that the chemtrails are in a book for the government's accountants. Where's the money going? There's a reason for this. It's not just to trick the world. Tricking the world is a bonus.
No, that's a bonus, of course, but that is why I tell you the cost of each seat to go there, because the transaction money is real. So you can laundry money up there. You can make some take the money can take another path in the middle of the route, that kind of things. Of course, they do it with multiplies objectives. For example, this one is from 27 of January. January is how is the?
Yeah, that's how you say it.
Okay.
You said.
Okay.
Yeah,
of 2017. And when you see, of course, they show all the time this kind of CGI things. But for example, right now they take off the boosters at 40 kilometers, and they show you this kind of image. And when you start to see this, for example, I have here, let me just make a pause in this. There is another part here. Here is the other part. So here they show these ones, all right? And this is another one, because this is not the same name of the mission. This is the VA, and this is another rocket, because this is from I think is from Soyuz. So they have another footage that they use all the time for this kind of launches. And for example, here is the same image. with the same clouds. Here have side by side comparison, but it's the same. If you start to make this kind of comparison, let me see if I can put it side by side. Just give me 1 second. But
the one on the left looks a lot more CGI to me.
yeah, because this is this part of the rocket is real. It's a real footage. I mean, it's a real object. The only thing that they do, they don't have even the issue of what is called camera tracking, which is a process, it's a time-consuming process, right? In our days, we have, of course, with this kind of device, with Instagram, you have this kind of graphic attached to your head. That is object tracking. So right now, the technology is very, very, it's more easily to do. But when you have a camera attached to an object, you don't have to make any tracking device. You don't have to do nothing about camera tracking or object tracking, because the camera is attached to the object. So if you move the layer of the background, you're gonna have the sensation of have been moved this one. You just need to match the light, for example, a thing like that. So these kind of things, they can film in on the plane or they can film in sounding rocket, and then they replace the part of the sounding rocket with this kind of image. I mean, they are government agency. They have a lot of money, they have a lot of people, a lot of research, possibilities, that they can do whatever they want. That's for sure. Now the problem is why they don't show us real live footage, and they use all the time the same kind of image. That is something that for me called my attention, because they use all the time the same kind of footage. So that means, for example, look at this one. This one is from 5th April 2014. This is another mission, and if you compare this, it's the same. Can you look at it? This also is the same. And this is from this 5 April of 2014 with another mission, different. So all the time they don't use real image in any mission.
Recycling.
Exactly.
This is what it is, recycling. Disculpa un momento, ahora vuelvo. Tengo que ir a...
Okay, go. So for me, when I'm start to make this kind of I want to find another video with which I have here. Where I have it here. This is, for example, another one with this kind of mission, and of course when they reach a certain altitude, they show the same kind of things, and they use the same video. This one, and this one. There are different missions, but they are using the same footage. So this is a really big fraud, So I'm gonna close this. I'm gonna check the chat situation. Let me just open the page of the chat. Where I have it? I have in the Chrome. So we have 182 persons in the chat right now. There is Oliver asking to enter, so I'm going to invite Oliver.
Cool. I haven't communicated with Oliver, but we haven't like this is it's good.
There is Oliver. Oliver, can you hear us? I think. Well, when I invited him, so I think it's just calling.
Again at Skype?
Yeah, from here in the Skype, yes. So I just waiting to, because he in the chat put that they can enter, so that is why I invited. I really appreciated all the people here in the chat room. Agus García, saludos en español, maestro, saludos. Acá me ponían a Central a Oliver y claro, bueno, debe haber algún troll. Lo voy a poner a MB, te voy a poner de moderador, maestro. Así que si querés ayudarme a manejar el chat, manejalo también a Hereje del Rock. There are people that follow me in Spanish, so I have a friendship with them.
I can tell you.
Hello.
Hello,
Hey.
there is Oliver.
Hey, what up?
What up, what up? So you speak English too, huh?
Now he speaks
Yeah, of
very
course.
well.
There you go.
Yes.
Of course,
Brilliant.
man.
What time is
Cool.
in Spain, Oliver?
Spain, it's 3 o'clock.
3 o'clock in the morning. Well, it's a little,
It's okay.
It's okay. It's okay. We have a worth it times to share a hangout.
Yeah, the other day was 5 o'clock, so.
Yes, that's right. So you have looking from the beginning.
What's that? Sorry?
You have
been
been watching from the beginning.
Yeah.
Ah, okay.
I saw when you were talking about the Vegas hoax. I told you, man.
Yeah.
I told you they would.
I hope they don't-
I believe you,
I hope-
but I don't think they're going to react so quickly without any warning, previous warning. There was
It's a
shocked me, huh?
sensitive, yeah, it's a sensitive time now, So now is when they have to act quickly because it's sensitive. There's so many people saying this is not true,
Yeah.
So
Yeah, I mean, they did the same to me back in 2015. They put me 2 strikes in a row, like instantly, and they nearly closed my channel. So
Oh, you need to
What?
close.
yeah, because I did 2 videos about the Charlie Hebdo, remember, in Paris?
yes,
That hoax, which is another hoax, obviously. And they put me 2 strikes, and I was like, oh my god, they're gonna close my channel.
yeah. This is
but,
the first time I watched any of your videos. Was that
The Charlie Hebdo?
Yeah.
Yeah. So there I learned that I have to basically upload these kind of videos on Facebook because YouTube is just crazy.
It's like they are more concerned about the false flag than the space fake, because they react very quickly to this kind of videos about when you're talking about the false flag.
Yeah, it's crazy because they even closed channels. For example, Russian Vids, PK Truth. They used to expose all these hoaxes, and they closed the channels due to copyright, strikes.
Yeah, in my case was explicit content strike. There wasn't there's no copyright. They just for the content.
Explicit content. Wait, did you show the photo of the guy with the blood?
Yeah, maybe that was. Maybe was
Yeah.
that.
Yeah, but the thing is that they have an algorithm that it just detects anything. If you put even Las Vegas shooting, if you're not a big news channel, like mass media channel, they will censor or demonetize your video. Because it happened to a huge YouTuber, Casey Neistat, you know who he is?
Yeah, I follow his channel.
So this guy did a video about Las Vegas shooting, saying that he would give all the revenue that he earned with AdSense to the victims, and they demonetized that video.
Oh.
And he didn't talk about it being a hoax or anything. So just so you get an idea how the algorithm works. It's like they don't want anything questioning the official But yeah, let's stop talking about this. If not, they'll
Okay,
you'll
okay,
lose
okay.
this channel.
I
No,
was
no,
thinking the
please.
same. Oliver, I was thinking before when when you were saying about what happened, and they go, "Oh, you're giving too many details." If I say, "Right, okay, we're going to close this video,"
No, no,
you know?
because if I receive any warning, I just going to edit, take out this kind of talks and just leave the technical talks.
No, but it's okay because I have my 2 live videos that are on my channel. I've talked about the hoaxes and nothing happened. I think it's if you put it into the description or the title, you know?
Yes, the title is a big
So I think
issue.
if you kind of mention it, I think it's not a big deal.
That's I
Yeah.
believe the same thing.
I made a video about it, and I didn't get a strike. They demonetized, they said inappropriate,
Right.
whatever.
Right.
But since speaking with Iru, I thought, okay, well, I'm taking it just in case, somebody gets a bit zealous and decides to report, because I've been gagged twice. I've had my channel closed twice. Well, restricted twice, and it's only a small channel, so it's not even like they're concerned about those who are reaching a large number of people. They're just anybody who's reaching anybody. It's like, close that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
because I think it's if you put images that they could consider like controversial about the event, it's when they close the video. It's when they ban the video. But if you just talk about it, I think it's kind of safe, or at most they demonetize it.
Yeah.
Here,
So I think we're gonna be okay.
Here, someone asked for Oliver going to a Canada international conference. Is in Canada another one? No.
There might be one in Canada. Soon there will be international conferences everywhere.
Everywhere.
I only heard about where is it? North Carolina?
Exactly.
Where the one you're going?
Yeah.
I heard about that one and another one in the UK. I don't know.
Yeah,
but I hope there's more in other places. It would be.
There's gonna be
be
one
nice.
in UK, Antonio. Do you hear?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've heard about it. I'm staying quiet. I don't want to say anything. But there's a huge number of flat earthers in France as well. So there will be there will be France, same in Italy. There's going to be conferences everywhere,
Yes.
It's
Spain, maybe Spain.
Yeah.
Who knows?
Yes, Catalonia.
Catalonia, right? Because let's see what happens, right? From tomorrow or next day.
Yeah, my brother lives in Almeria, and he's here now in England, and he's saying, "Okay, everybody, what are you going to do when you have to change your passports, to Catalan?" So it's like, well,
Right.
Okay, but the Catalan government, I know this is a bit of a side subject, but the Catalan government has bought buildings all over the world in different capitals and second cities to open as embassies. They've been doing that for a while now, so yeah, It's going to happen. It's going to happen.
Yeah.
I don't know if it's going to happen, but I know lots of people, family and friends, that are thinking about going elsewhere in Spain, like Madrid, other places. Because it's kind of difficult, because if you have some kind of negocio here, then international investors, there's already some kind of fear, and it's kind of difficult. So people will just flee from Catalonia, I think. In fact, lots of big companies are fleeing now. Big banks are going to Madrid, Zaragoza. So don't know what's going to happen.
Maybe it's not so bad if the banks leave.
That's
Right.
right. That's right. Yeah.
Hey.
So
Let's just-
no, continue, please.
I was just going to say, let's just hope that everything goes smoothly. Whatever happens, that it goes smoothly and that there's no blood, So
Yeah.
So if you like, I continue with this satellite thing, just to finish the technical part, because for me these kind of things about the satellites, it's like the curve, trying to find the curve. A lot of people, they say, okay, I see the curve when I go to the beach and I see a ship disappearing behind the horizon, And then, you know, when you show, for example, a high balloon altitude camera, you can see that it's all flat. And like the same thing happened when you're talking about satellites. The people say, I see satellite from the ground, and they have this kind of image that I show in the left side of the monitor, when they are on the ground and they see this white dot, you know, moving in the sky. They believe that they are seeing a satellite, that this is a satellite. So there is when, for example, a lot of flat earthers ask for professional astronomers to say, okay, please take a photo. If you can see, if you are believe that there are satellites up there, of course the satellites, if you want to analyze based on the heliocentric model, you're gonna have a lot of space between one satellite and the other satellite, right? Because the space up there is very, very huge. But if you can see from the ground, that means that you can, you know, put a telescope and make a photo from the ground. But they never showed nothing about that. But the people, the regular people, they believe that this kind of point that are moving up there are satellites. So when you start to you know, research about this kind of thing, you can clearly see there are, you know, like the satellite going in the same orbit or in the same path, which is not allowed even for legal reasons. That they can go, you know, all in the same line, because they can crash one with each other, right? So these kind of things that the people are looking, there are balloons going in the jet streams. That is why sometimes the satellite change the direction, or some satellites go in certain path and slow down, or they take some kind of acceleration. That is because they are up there in which is jet stream. In fact, I think the problem to the professional astronomers to take a photo, maybe they don't show us, because when you make a photograph of this kind of points moving in the sky, you immediately going to notice that these are balloons. But the regular people start you know, screaming, where I see a dot, but I don't see the satellite. I just see, you know, a white dot, but we don't see the satellite hanging in the cable, like.
But then this is one of the things that always bothers me. They say, well, I see it. It's like, yeah, okay, what are you seeing? Are you seeing a light? Does a satellite have a huge power source for a big floodlight so that you can see it from the ground? Because it's on the night side. You know, it's not in the dawn. It's not just dawn or dusk and it just can catch a little bit of the sun. It's going all the way across the night. So what the hell are you seeing? You're not seeing under the heliocentric model. You're not even seeing a balloon at night on the dark side under the heliocentric. You're seeing a balloon on the flat Earth on the night side, because it's at such a height that it's catching the light. You know, it's just like, come on.
But when you start to I am going to open the video in the Spanish version to don't waste the time to find all the videos and things like that. But I'm gonna take out my face of the video. Okay, here we are. So when you start to analyze these things, I'm showing in this Spanish version. Let me just found it, and it's about here. If I don't let me just here. So for example, when you start to see in the daylight, some people believe this is an UFO, you know, like no, this is an ovni, or the, you know, some alien spacecraft or things like that. This is a balloon. This is what the people believe, because it's at night, it's a satellite. But if it's in the daylight, no, this is an UFO. But this is how you see from the ground a balloon. That balloon maybe is one of the balloons with the satellite equipment, or maybe just a meteorological balloon. But you can clearly see is following the same altitude of the planes. Maybe a lot, maybe a little up or little down, but it's in the same inside of our sky. It's in the same range of altitude. In fact, when you start to looking, you can see clearly what is called chromatic aberration. For example, here you can see all the colors distorted because when you focusing up there, the cameras has this kind of issue. That is why you also believe that the planets are round. It's because the telescope, because there are concave lens, they focus all all the lights in a point. So in the middle of the point is gonna be a lot of light, but at the outer ring of the image that you see in the telescope is gonna have this kind of vignetting issue. So the planet that you see, you don't 100% sure because it's spherical, based on this kind of shadow, because that is an issue that all the lenses have, which is called vignetting. So this kind of chromatic aberration, it's also very clear when you try to analyze things like the ESS filming from the ground. I'm gonna show you that in a moment. But here you can see I'm starting to compare this kind of balloons. For example, here is other one which is more close to the ground. So when you make a zoom, you can start to see the shape of the balloon, but you are still not able to see the wire that suspend the equipment, because that is very thin, and the satellite of the equipment that hung out of this balloon is really tiny based on the size of the balloon. The balloon, when it's up there, is taking a really, really big, this balloon inflate a lot. So that is why there is, let me just show you this. When you see this kind of, look at this size of the equipment down here, in comparison with the balloon up here. And this balloon, it's even at the 50% of the inflation that this kind of balloon reach when are up there in the stratosphere. So if you start to try to compare these kind of things, here you can see, for example, I'm starting like a little comparison, where is in the ground, when you start to see maybe about 2-3 kilometers up there, and I'm going to show you until reach like 30 kilometers up there. So look at the size of the equipment. It's really huge size in comparison with when you are on the ground. But for example, in this video, you can clearly see the difference on the size of the equipment in comparison with the balloon. And this balloon is not even inflated yet.
Yes, I was going to say, you can see by the crimping on the balloon that it has a lot more scope for expansion as it
exactly
rises in the air. Yeah,
exactly. So if you continue to compare, look at this point there is a same balloon launch with the same equipment, but a few miles up there. This tiny point there is the same kind of balloon, but that balloon was released a few minutes ago. So even right now, you can see these two balloons are the same, have the same equipment, and you can see it just in this same video, for example. And then you have another kind of footage. For example, here you can start to see all the expansion of the balloon, and here you can clearly see the wire, and this tiny out of focus white point is the same kind of equipment that we show on the ground. And you can see here it's not even visible. Can you imagine if you put this kind of things 30 kilometers up there? It's impossible to see. You just going to see is these white balloons. But it's impossible to see the equipment. That is why there is impossible to film a space shuttle at 100 kilometers up there. So when you start to put all these comparisons in perspective, you can clearly see that no camera can film in 100 kilometers up there. So all the launches that the space agency show us, I don't know exactly the altitude, but I don't believe there is a 100 kilometers up there.
We've seen from the sounding rockets that when they reach that 100-kilometer stage, they just stop.
Yeah,
Yes.
They stop because they use a device called yo-yo the spin. But
yes, this is to spin, but I mean they stop the actual trajectory, the upward motion, where you showed it, where they just bump, they just stay there for a stage and start to fall.
Yes, they don't stop the upward trajectory. They stop the spinning of the rocket, and then you have the inertia of that movement. But they enter in these heavy gases, and that is why they don't show what happened up there. In fact, for example, this is a picture from NASA Research Center. And they have writing in this banner, they say scientists do it on balloons, for example. And this is all the satellite equipment. This is the real satellite that all engineers build. But they don't put in any rocket. They just leave, they put in the sky in this kind of, because we have, which is atmospheric balloons, but there is also this kind of balloons which is called super pressure, ultra long duration balloon. These balloons can be up there for months, not just days. They going up there months up there. So these kind of balloons are super pressure balloons. They are not just and this is, when you start to see this kind of image, remember that for example the ISS, they telling us that the ISS lost altitude, and they need to compensate and go up again, because this is the kind of things that also happen with balloons, for example. So when you start to, I'm going to show you another one. Here you can clearly see this is the satellite, and there is not reach even the 30 kilometers, and it's really difficult to see. So when you do all this comparison, you can clearly see all the, let me just put another one. This is other footage that you can see that it's impossible to see. For a human eye, it's impossible directly. And that is all images based on NASA. In fact, here you have the patch, the Palestine, Texas, and they put this balloon and they show us the the Earth, like this balloon go up in the space. It's very, it's really very, very, very funny. But you can see all the, here you can see, the process of what we see from ground. And that is why there is no any astronomer, professional astronomer out there that like to take a photograph of that point that travel in the sky and they call satellites. Because if they make it, they are going to find that there are balloons, not satellites. And that maybe destroyed their beliefs. So that is, yeah.
I don't think they will see it. You know how if you believe something and you look, you will see what you believe. So I think this is what happens. They will think that they're seeing a shape that is like a satellite, and then they will analyze the footage and say, "Oh man, but when I was looking, I could see it." You know, it's like, yeah, it's because when you were looking, you were projecting what you wanted to see.
Yes.
Yeah, and the people that say they can see the ISS from Earth, I mean, but it's 2017. I think we should already have HD footage of the ISS from Earth, not just blurry, kind of crap videos.
Yeah.
And also, like, how do people know if what they're seeing is a space shuttle in space as opposed to something here on Earth? Like, it's what you're saying. They're conditioned to believe that that's something in space, but in reality, they could well be seeing something here on Earth, which is actually what it is.
And not only that, but we have thousands of flights. So at some point, somebody on a flight with a P900 would have captured the ISS with no refraction, no cloud cover above them. They would go, "Oh, dude, there's the ISS. Small, but I can zoom in with my P900. No, it doesn't happen because it's not true.
Exactly.
Yeah, that's another one. Yeah. And from the ISS, they should also see other things, right? The space debris and I mean, we've never seen that. It's just... Yeah.
But we've seen from the ISS, they can see the whole of the Earth. I don't know if you've seen the video.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, see, I trying to find, because I have one military plane filming from the ground, what is a really good method to compare the viewing of the ISS from the ground. Let me just... I can remember when I save in all these folders. Just let me a moment, because a lot of people, when they filming the ISS from the ground, they show us this kind of thing, all the filming, they have this kind of distortion with this is chromatic aberration, and the problem with this is like the same thing happens with the balloons when you're filming from the ground, and that is because you are inside the atmosphere. So I want to, just for comparison, I'm looking the other monitor because I trying to find the footage. Let me just, because I think that I have in the plane.
Mientras buscas,
yeah.
Mientras buscas, Ciro, if we all look at the ISS image there on the top right, what the hell is all of that light coming from the main body, not the solar panels? What is all that light? What is that? Do they have circus lights on? What could be causing that much light to cause this refractive effect, this rainbow effect? There isn't an explanation. If it's the black of the sky, it's like, what's causing this? Is it white hot? Like when you're making a sword and it's white hot. Is that what they're trying to say?
I don't know what they're trying to say. What I can tell you is this kind of distortion. It's caused by the gases in the atmosphere. But the issue for me, at least, is that the size, because for something called the angular resolution of all devices concerned to optics, the human eye or the camera or whatever, or telescope, they all have a limitation based on diffraction of the light. So this is an issue based on the diffraction of the light. That is what is called the chromatic aberration. And the thing is, for example, like we make the comparisons of the shuttle space with the plane seen from the ground. Here you can see, which is this is from web page in the Argentinian, which is a fan of military, stuff. Here you can see filming in the day, which is a caza, plane, and here you can start to see this kind of diffraction. And when you filming at night, the same thing happen. And of course, a plane is not about 450 kilometers up there. So for me, when you started to look at this kind of situation of the ISS, which there is have the ISS have all this ISS tracker, and you can check when it's going to pass of our city and things like that. It's a plane. It's an U-2 plane or some kind of high-speed plane with some camouflage, because there is not very difficult to take a plane and put all the camouflage you need to make the thing of to see like a ISS. You have a lot of designs of planes to you are the military guys, okay? You are NASA, so you can fake whatever you want up there.
Listen, here in the UK, the last 2 Christmas times, they have had a Santa Claus flying across the sky and telling people where. Listen, this is really true. They have had Santa Claus flying across the sky. They have told people where they can go to watch it. For the adults, they have said it's a helicopter pulling something, a banner. There is nothing. There is no helicopter. There is nothing at all. What happens is people go out. They say, at 7:45 it will come. And at 7:45 they start saying, I can see it, for the children. And then other adults don't understand that they're saying this for the children. And they go, oh, yeah, wow, isn't it amazing? And the adults are seeing it. There's nothing there.
Wow, so I don't recall that.
This is amazing. Here in England. It's amazing. So when for instance, Jaron, I've seen the ISS from Spain in the middle of the night there across the sky. It's not the ISS, it's just a light, That's all it is. And when people go out to look at the ISS, that's all that they see. The photo that you showed, the photo with the white hot fuselage of the ISS that you have there on the top right, there is no explanation for the whiteness, because even with the plane, you could only see the heat from the jet. You couldn't see the shape of the plane. Here you can see the shape of everything. It's like, what is making all this light come from the fuselage?
No, that's I completely agree. I didn't know about this Santa Claus projection, because if you are up there, you can project with whatever you want. If you have the power, you can project whatever you want.
But this is the thing. The reason that I mention it, they explain for the adults that what they're doing is a projection from a helicopter. This is what they explain. But in the real world, there is no helicopter and there is no projection. In the real, it's just something they tell the adults. But the children see it and the adults see it. My friend saw it and he's a photographer. I said, did you take a photo? He said, no, I was with the children. He didn't see anything. I went to one of the things. Okay, let's see this. There's nothing that, it really is just a magic spell. They announce it on the television, rumors start through Facebook, and then people claim to have seen it. And I don't doubt that some of them have experienced the phenomenon of seeing it and tricking themselves into thinking that's a cool hologram. There's nothing. There is no hologram.
Well, that's if you have the video, please share with us, because I really like to analyze that. That is a really good one.
If they do it this year, well, this is the thing. There was no video of it, of course, because there really isn't anything there. But if they try it again this year, I will do. I will go and video the people seeing it.
Oh,
on our guide. Yeah.
Oliver, you are talking?
Sorry, what? I'm
no.
listening.
Okay. Sorry, I believe you just speak and I got you. And for example, when I'm talking about these kind of things about the telescope, I like always to show this, which is called the Foucault-Ronchi test, and this is how you calibrate a telescope. And for me, this is, for example, if I show you this image, what you gonna believe? This is what kind of shape it have, because based on the shade of the shadows and that kind of things, you're gonna believe
it's a sphere.
it's a sphere or have some kind of elevations. But the real is, you can see here when you start to calibrate the telescope, it's a plane. This image which you can use to calibrate the telescope is a plane image, it's a disc. But based on the shadows, on the calibration of the lens, you can have the illusion of that image, instead of be a plane, be a spherical or concave.
Kind of reminds me of the moon.
Yeah.
Exactly. So we know that the atmosphere behaves like a lens. So that is why, in fact, any star or any planet you look up there, you just looking like a projection in the Karman line. So you can see any device from Earth, it's impossible to see more than 100 kilometers, because that is the last layer of the atmosphere where the light projects. So you never see any object in the real position up there. They are all apparent position. In fact, I have a quickly test based on a simulation I'm going to show you to illustrate my point. Let me just open it. I believe this is this one. Yeah, it's this one. So here, no, it's not this one. Wait a second. I think is this one or is not this one? I think it's this one. Yeah, it's this one. For example, I have this object right here. So if I make a render right now, let me just I need to go with the physical parameters here. If I, for example, render this, you can clearly see that this is a circle. You can see if and let me just reduce this. You can see here is a circle, it's a cylinder. In fact, if I show you from another perspective, you can clearly see it's a very, very flat cylinder. In fact, I don't even make a chamfer in the edges. I just leave like that, because if I wanted, I can make some kind of fillet, so you can have this round, soft shape. But I leave it totally like a circle. So if I render like this in computer animation, in computer programs, I can see, a circle object. But when I'm started to simulate real world parameters, like the vignetting intensity, if I start to increase the vignetting intensity, I'm going to start to have the issue that all telescopes share, which is this phenomena of you can lose power outside of the lenses. So right now, if I show you this image, what do you gonna think?
You're gonna think, yeah.
Exactly. So that is why we have that kind of spherical appearance up there, but you cannot tell that is 100% spherical, because you are seeing a soft edge, turning black at the sides of the object.
Because not only this, Iru, I have passed you something on Skype. It's time stamped.
Yeah.
I don't know if you want to show it. This is somebody using a laser, a round lens, and shining the laser through the round lens onto a wall.
Yeah, I have seen it. Amazing.
This is the one. This is the new one where he's making a
projection.
a crescent. But he's making a crescent. Yeah.
Yeah, and let me. I going to put. I leave from, because let me just show into the people, because I think this was the first one, right? If I don't get wrong. Let me just.
Really good.
Okay, let me just. This is the first one. This guy is amazing. Good Time for All is called the channel. So they have this dome glass object, and he used normal regular laser pointer. That I have the same one. If you take the tip of the laser, you can just rotate it, and it is project all this grid of little point of light. If you take off that cap, it's just a regular point. That is the only difference. So this was the first proof that he makes, right?
Yes.
Okay, and in this video he talked about, I'm going to take dome glass more big, and I'm going to start to experimenting with this big dome. But in this first one, you can see that we have a flat surface, a cylindrical flat surface with this dome shape, and you have on the flat surface the light where the light projects. You have the illusion of being a three-dimensional object based on light, of course. But this is all about it. All the apps in the sky are light.
Yeah. All they need is somewhere to happen. So a change in temperature, a change of medium, a change of direction, magnetic direction,
polarization,
a whole range of things that can cause light, can cause the equivalent to a surface on which light can reflect or hit.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, and this are the new one test. So I'm gonna leave here, because for the people understand, when we're talking about the projection thing, about this kind of projection, we refer to this thing. Let me just find it here in one of my videos. Here you can. I'm gonna leave this quickly video to the people understand what we're talking about. Let me just put it from the beginning. I think is up here. Yeah. For example, this kind of observatory in Europe, they have a laser which can produce an artificial star up in the sky for, to guide the telescope, because up there in the sky there is also a Fata Morgana. Because the Fata Morgana is a phenomenon that occurs in every place there are gases, and different temperatures. That is the effect of the Fata Morgana. So when you start to see the blinking stars, that is caused by this kind of optics aberration based on these gases. So this is at 100 kilometers up there, is the most up layer to project light. So that is why anyone can see beyond 100 kilometers. It's like you see a reflection of the light on a glass. You're never gonna see the lamp outside the glass. You're just going to see the light reflects in the glass of the window. That is why you can triangulate a rainbow or a real sun or whatever, because there is no real object to compare. So that kind of yeah, tell me.
Yeah, there is no locality. The object you're seeing, the thing you perceive as an object, so the phenomenon that we call the sun or the rainbow, is not, it doesn't have locality.
Exactly.
And by the way, these lasers, guy, Iru, I don't know if you've seen this, but they shoot these lasers from Chile. They have the
Atacama.
You see, and they pinpoint stars with multiple lasers. Okay, so they're not pinpointing stars; they're creating a star by having the lasers meet at the atmosphere at that layer. They heat up the sodium. That's what they do. They heat up the sodium with a laser, then they can lasers off and study how the light interacts.
Yes.
But this means that these guys know the stars are local. This is what I don't understand. They must know that the stars are local.
That's right. In fact, for example, they even I have this part in English, and a lot of telescope right now, they have electronic device for localization of object up there. It's like, that kind of game when the people with the cellular phone, they can film on the street, and in the cellular phone appears a Pokemon.
Yes.
But in reality it's nothing. Well, the telescope, not all the telescope, but there is a lot of telescope, in fact professional telescope, that con eso se vería mejor. Can you hear
that's
it?
Incredible. So that's Uranus, and the first thing that strikes me there is you've got colour in that.
Yes.
No.
And I think right now you can going to hear.
Oh wow, that's incredible. So that's Uranus, and the first thing that strikes me there is you've got colour in that shot. Is that colour that's been captured through the telescope, or is that added on afterward?
And it's been colourised later to give a more aesthetically pleasing appearance.
And that's because it's quite tricky to get the different colour components with it?
Exactly, that's right. Because these planets are so dim, it's very difficult to obtain good colour data to actually make a true colour. One of the great things is it's only in recent times that it's become possible to start recording detail on planets such as Uranus and Neptune with amateur telescopes.
Okay. Why is that, do you think?
I think it's a combination of the development of very powerful software for processing the data that we're able to capture, and the cameras we have now are so much better.
Yeah.
The point is that now you never see colors through a telescope. You never see colors. So all the colors are added based on, the spectrum of the gases and the frequency of the light and that kind of stuff. But there you can see real colors. And now we have this software that run in real time. So when you look it, because this guy, when look it in the computer screen, they look, the color of Neptune. So he asked to the astronomer, which wants a prize in England. This astronomer is very famous in England. He is asked to the astronomer, we have seen the real color, and he said no. That is a combination of development of the software that we have today connected to the telescope, the camera, the computer, to show us that kind of color. So to live clear, because I have a little in another part of the video, so I think is here. So this is the official explanation of the blinking stars and that kind of stuff. They telling us all the light you see, you can see at this altitude. So maybe the real star is up there, but you're gonna see this projection here, and then for the index of refraction properties, you're gonna start to see more apparent, and where they really are. So if you can go up there, you're never gonna see the real objects. So all the projection, all the light that we see, it's 100 kilometers. No one, it doesn't matter what is, how big is your telescope or your lenses. You all the time is gonna be limited by the Kármán line.
Yeah. So this means if you're looking through an old-fashioned telescope, it might be really good quality, and you don't have a camera hooked to it to your computer. You're going to project color. You might see color. You might see turquoise. You might see blue, a hint of brown, whatever. But you can't show this to anyone. So when you hook it up to a computer, now either it's very old software and it is not coloring the image, in which case people are going to say, it's just a blurry light, or it's going to have color and people will think, wow, your telescope is really good. When really it's just either you're projecting the image yourself, when it's just you watching it privately, or the computer system is tweaking it for you to show other people. Dude, we so live in a world of deceit.
Yeah, and that is also why you can maybe sometimes see stars in front of the moon, for example, because the moon is up of the line of the Kármán line. So you can see, you can have, if I draw in here very quickly, let me just draw in very quickly. But if you have, for example, the Kármán line, you know, just for imagination purposes, this is the Kármán line. The moon is up there. The stars is in some place, you know, for example here, let me just change the pencil. You have the stars there, and this is the ground. So the light of these stars is going to project here, and the light of the moon also is going to project here. But in this line, both lights are in additive mode. So you can have, for example, light that is being distorted by these layers. So you can have over, you know, over when two objects, you know, are superposed. Exactly.
Yeah, superimposed.
Exactly, because we're talking about light. For example, I can have I'm going to show you very quickly. For example, I can have this kind of situation, you know. Let me just paint in this. For example, I can this object which is gray, and I have another layer with you know, maybe this kind of pink color. Yeah. So if I put it one in front of the other, you can see, of course, there is, you know, one cover the other. But if I put this object in the layer mode, like the atmosphere behave and the light in the atmosphere behave, for example, I put it in add mode, you can see, you know, both are overimposed. This is have color, so that is why I can see over the gray, I can see that. But the moon is white and the stars are also white. So when you see the both together, you can determine which is in front of the other, because this is just a parent object. This result of the overexposure light is going to project in the Kármán line. So maybe the objects are up here, but you are seeing combined in the Kármán line. So that is very difficult to triangulate objects. We're never going to do it because we live underwater. It's like to try to triangulate a light seen from underwater. It's impossible.
Do you remember?
Yeah.
Do you remember the video of the submarine that finds a dome in the ocean, underwater? It finds, I think it was oysters or mussels.
Yeah, it's like a lake under the ocean.
Yes.
Yeah.
In Mexico.
Yeah, so they say it's a high concentration of salt. It's like, okay, yeah, here you are. So, but you can see that there's water under this dome, there's water. You can see there the waves.
Yeah.
Okay. So we don't know whether from the top of that dome shape, and they said that it was dome shaped. Okay, from the top of that dome shape, we don't know if there is then an area of air, of gas rather than liquid. We don't know.
We don't know.
They don't, because they couldn't go through it.
Exactly.
Right, and then the guy mysteriously died in a supposedly helicopter accident.
Yeah.
And that part of the documentary, because it's a BBC documentary, they edited out that part in the official one.
Yes.
Afterwards.
Yeah.
In fact, here you can see the ripple effect. Here you can see this is underwater, and you can see the ripple there.
Yeah.
Which is, and also there is a night. Well, this is the accident of this poor guy, and also there is a very interesting thing, because in the Yale University, when they just explain to the people about the undersea surface. I have here. This is from the University of Yale, so this is an official university.
La palabra
I'm going to leave just the speak about the
a la vista.
professor.
La habla de kilómetros.
He talking about the abyssal plane, exactly. So I mean this.
Era una tierra esférica.
There is a section of abyssal plain, a kind of flat-lying section, a flat surface. All the deep blue is abyssal plain, about 5 kilometers deep. And you see it a lot of places.
I mean, all this blue is a flat plane. I mean,
that's literally a flat plane,
exactly.
not a place that appears to be flat on a curved ball. It's a flat place. The submarines that travel along there that are only mere feet from the surface of the underwater land,
Exactly.
they know that it's flat because you're running on gyroscopes.
Exactly.
Incluso cuando uno
So all the world is flat, because you can see here the color code, and this is all flat plane. In fact, for example, he show us in this side view. This is South America. This is Africa, and all the terrain underwater is plane. So how many kilometers are from South America to Africa? Thousands of kilometers. And this is a plane surface. So, this is when I see this kind of thing, I believe I think how the people that are professional, they don't see it, because you are talking about, I don't know, I'm gonna put a number because I don't have in my mind, 10,000 kilometers. From Africa to South America, I don't know, 7,000 kilometers of flat plane.
Yeah, it's pretty crazy when you think about it. But the thing is that they're just programmed to not even question that. So
that's right. I mean,
The brain
all of
thinks,
us.
the brain, yeah, sorry, Iru.
No,
That
come on,
when
come
they're
on.
when they're teaching this, everybody watching and the professor, they think this is a small portion of a much larger round ball. So we can't really see the roundness because the ball is so big. But even like Iru's saying, if you take into consideration the space between between Africa and South America, that's a big chunk of the ball. It's not a small piece of a 25,000 mile round ball. It's almost a third of the ball. So it's a big piece. So, but they just project. In the back of the mind, they think that's just a small portion of the much bigger ball. Okay, next.
Exactly. And well, this is not the case. That is the real thing. And It's in fact we have all that kind of limit up there and down, but when you start to study which is called sprites, that
Yeah, that's amazing.
yes, in fact the word sprites comes from spirits. The word sprite is mean literally in Greek spirit. You know, when you drink Sprite, for example, you have drink some kind of spirit. I don't know what kind of spirit up there, but here you can see the electrical fence, because remember that this gas called hexafluoruro, it's a gas in that it's very useful in the electrical business, because you can isolate these when you have cortocircuitos. I don't know which is the name in English.
Cortocircuito.
Cortocircuito. When you have a electrical issue.
A fault, an electrical fault.
Yeah. So that is why you can use these gases up there, because the hexafluoruro, this gas stop any electrical,
short circuit.
Yeah. So you, yes. So you can see here, this is our electrical, rays, like lightning bolts, and here you can see the fence. The electrical force go down, but you can see the line that they can go up. They shooting down, but they don't go up, because this is our limit. And that is why they call sprites, because sprite it mean spirit, angels. So you can, when you start to study all this kind of thing, you can clearly see all the limitations of our world or our plane of existence. In fact, this is a good example when we're talking about the electrical sun, and I have been talking in the Globebuster show. You can see that the light of the sun is electrical, because you can see here. If you ask any person what time of the day is this, what are you gonna think?
You're going to think about midday, because the shadows are so vertical.
Exactly, but this is a frame stop in the lightning storm. So this
3 in the morning.
Exactly, this kind of light is based in electrical behave. You can see there, and the light of the sun is the same. And in fact, if you put a flower beside a fire, you're not going to see the flower grows. But if you put a flower beside an electrical lamp, you're gonna see how the plants grow up with electrical, assistance. So all our world is totally electrical. We live in an electrical world.
We are electrical.
We are electrical. Exactly.
We don't work. Yeah.
Exactly. In fact, when the last thing that I want to show you based on these altitude things, when you see, for example, well, this is all image of different space agency with sounding rockets. All these sounding rockets are stopped up there based on these gases before they enter into atmosphere. Then we can make another show to speak about this. These have a lens correction, and these rockets are 100 kilometers up, not 30 kilometers up. This is the most you can go. 100 kilometers up. This is based on an interview, but here we can see even this. I want to show you this quickly. I think I have it. This one. When you see this kind of rockets with the curve, because a lot of people, they believe this kind of curve is, because you reach a point where you're going out of the atmosphere. And of course, when the cameras from the ground, it's on purpose, they take this kind of shoot, because when you see here, you believe that this rocket is go in a straight line, but that kind of thing is just like if you take the camera, you rotate the camera, and you just only show that little portion. So maybe for the human eye in the television, you see like that rocket, it go straight, and you don't.
You have to remove the arc. Yes.
Exactly, but you just trick the people, because you just showing this little part would represent this little part there. So that is why a lot of people, they don't see the real launch from the ground. They don't understand this kind of perspective, because the celestial perspective for the human eye is very complex, you know, because you don't have reference.
Yeah, when a plane flies overhead from, if you go to an air show, and the plane comes, the fighter jet comes from your left and flies straight over your head, you see an arc.
Exactly.
But it's not doing an arc, it's doing a very straight line, you know?
Exactly.
And yeah, it's what you're saying, Hiro, yeah.
In fact, I like, because I don't remember from what channel I get it, but this video, when you have, you know, they here in Argentina, we say that the drunk people and the young people always say the truth. When you are drunk, you say the truth, and when you are young, you say the truth. And here we can.
Vino veritas.
What?
In vino veritas.
Yeah, exactly.
In wine. Yes.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Here you can hear from the boys on the ground with their parents going to see a rocket launch show. So listen what the kids. It's from Taboo Conspiracy, which is a great channel also.
Or is it the rocket? Was that the rocket lifting off?
Yep, that's it.
That's a noise. I've never heard it before. It's drifting. That's bad.
It's doing good so far.
Yep. And the father tell him, no, it's go fine, and the boy, he all the time is going to say,
Is that what always happens? Does it always go like that?
Yep.
yep, always.
It looks bad to me. It's in space. Or is it? Is that it?
Yep, I think that's it.
He just became a flat earther there.
Yeah, and this little girl is screaming, oh no, it's going down.
Oh no, it's going down!
Well, Mark. Peter, or Sandy, is it turning or is the Earth spinning?
And this is great, because this is the conversation about two adult people, and one asks to
Earth
another,
spinning.
yeah, is the rocket turning or it's the Earth spinning? And of course, what is gonna be the answer? He knows it's the Earth spinning.
Sandy? It's not turning, the Earth is spinning. Sandy? That's going straight up, it's just the Earth is turning, we're moving away from it.
Is that what always happens? Does it always go like that?
Yep.
It looks bad to me.
It's look bad to me.
Is that what always?
It's
That's
amazing.
a good video.
No,
That's a good video.
Yeah, it's amazing. You know, that is why one of a friend of mine do create this image, because it's all scam, man.
It is. Iru, the guy who says, no, it's the Earth spinning, this guy has never stopped to think of something like a skyscraper, you know, or a helicopter just going up. In his mind, if you asked him, how does a helicopter just go up? he must think, well, the helicopter to go up, it has to go up and against the spin to look like it's going up.
Exactly.
I mean, but he had his opinion. You notice the other guy was making the questions, but he was the one making the statements.
Exactly.
It's like, it's always the way. It's always the way.
Yeah. No, this is this is a nice time to be incarnated, you know, because it's a very funny to see how the Babylons go down. I don't know what's going to happen and how the elite is going to manage this, because we know that the religion party is going to try to make advantage of all this through coming out, and that is what is more the worry things for at least for me.
But it doesn't matter, you know, if the religious people eventually try to take over, it's not going to happen. You know, the waking up is happening too broadly. And in the end, you know, we will all finish in the same place. In the end, we'll finish in the same place, and we'll be able to,
at the end of the game, the king and the I don't know which is the name in peon. Yeah, those those go into the same box.
Yes.
The difference is what is your knowledge and how to behave in that box. I mean, when you disincarnate, I don't know if that is the correct word, but when you get out of the body for the complete body, you know, when you really die, you didn't die, but the thing is, what do you do in that state? Because you never take the time to practice in that place.
Man, you know, when somebody who think of the wealthiest child, or you know, doesn't have to be the offspring of the mega wealthy in this world, the guys that can have anything, anytime, all of the time, those guys, when those guys incarnate, it's not such an upgrade for them, but for people who don't have that situation, you know, for people like us, it's pretty good upgrade, you know.
Yep.
I believe that. That's I never talk about these kind of things in the hangout. I just, you know, drop some words, because a lot of people they believe that I like you know, like a Jesuit, or you know, a Lester Crowley disciple, because I'm talking about the incarnation practice. But whatever, that is something that you can't escape from that. So
yeah, this is the thing. We know that stage, that is a big question. It's a mystery. We know this. We know that we will get to the point where the next thing that will happen will be a mystery. Like completely, absolutely. Even people who recall past lives and all, they don't know that they're not fooling themselves. They don't know that it's absolutely concrete truth. They don't know. It's still a mystery, okay? And what mechanisms get us there, if that's the case? It is all just a great big mystery, and we're here now. We can tell people that we know what happens in the other place, but it's bullshit because we don't know. And the same with all of the religious people. It's bullshit because they don't know. That's it. They don't know. What are they doing? Telling people as if like they know. No. All we know is a freaking mystery.
Yeah. That's I totally agree. And that what is I really like the show that we took a few weeks ago with Bob, talking about consciousness and that kind of trickery, that kind of knowledge about how the elite, I think they know, you know, more than us, how operate in that kind of states.
But you know, Edison was convinced that he was going to be able to create a device with which to communicate with the afterlife.
Yeah.
He was absolutely convinced that he could do that.
Yeah.
The guy who invented the television, he didn't invent television to, you know, broadcast TV shows and the news. He invented it for a reason. He was trying to invent something with which to communicate with the other. These are people who were convinced, and these are the guys that have been feeding technology into the elite that we don't have.
Exactly. Exactly. I like
Yeah,
this.
because
Yeah.
we know the elite do communicate, or at least they believe they communicate with spirits or demons. So they definitely believe that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Totally.
And
Totally.
who knows what kind of technology they have.
Yeah, in fact, I don't believe, I really don't believe that all the technology you need is in your body. It's your heart, your mind, and your will. And that is the all technology you need to communicate in upper states of the consciousness. You don't really need a technology or a pill of, a plant or whatever. That is just accessories. But if you develop, I practice these kind of things to get out my body when I go to sleep. I don't have all the time successfully go out, but I have a lot of astral projection, and it's sometimes I'm scary, sometimes I have good times just for putting in some kind of understanding way. But it's only in your body. There you need technology. If you're going to start use technology, well, maybe you're going to use technology that is developed with another purpose. That is what I'm thinking, okay? Then I don't have the final word, of course, but I believe that our body comes with all the technology that we need to communicate with God, if you want to put in some way. And I like this.
Well, yeah, and in fact, part of being able to communicate with God is this spiritual awakening that, for instance, Flat Earth allows you to have. Because when you discover how the Earth is, or at least how it could be, well, then it's much easier to see if everything's been created, if God exists, it's much easier.
Yeah.
Because when you believe in the heliocentric satanic lie, which also includes the other Freemasonic theories like gravity, Big Bang, evolution, well, it's much harder to be, because it's basically an atheistic, nihilistic compend of theories.
And even the non-atheists, they have imposter gods.
Oh yeah, there's false gods, false teachers, false religions. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, I like to have I have in my library of video I have this astronaut because the ISS has a program that they transmit at night for the children's go to have a good sleep. So they read histories, so like storytelling. And for example, this one is the wizard who saved the world. This is like a punch in the face, because you can
they're always trying to fit in these satanic little bits in there.
Yeah, and this is for the kids, but this is from the adults. When you see this this ball, it's the same storytelling, but for the adult people. The adult people doesn't.
And the Catholic Church is also into this, because people think that the Catholic Church, they used to burn Galileo and all these. No, they actually financed Copernicus and all these theories, because they're part of the elite.
Exactly. Mm-hmm. Exactly.
The guys who destroyed all the wisdom in Central and South America, they were directed by the Catholics. So all the destruction of that knowledge, of the Popol Vuh, of all of this, it was directed by the people who were pushing this.
Yeah.
It's the same hand.
Exactly.
The same hand directed that. All those swords, all those cannons, all those horses, all of that, it was the same hand that committed those atrocities.
Yeah, that's right. I think this we have experienced some delay effects in the live video. Doesn't worry because I have recording all, so I'm going to upload into the main channel. Oliver, if you like, you can upload in this video to your channel too, and of course Antonio, he's going to do it without any permission. He
Cool.
so we have passed 2 hours and 20 minutes. So for me, it's if you want to keep talking, I don't have any problem. But for me, it's was a great show.
Yeah, I'm going to bed now. So.
Yes, me too. I have to be up early tomorrow. I have to be up in about 4 hours.
4 hours.
All right, because it's 3:30 there, right? You're in the UK.
It's 3:30. Yeah.
Yeah.
So I have to be up in 4 hours. I'm speaking with hopefully if all goes well with Santos Bonacci. You know.
Oh, Santos.
When?
Yeah. So tomorrow morning, but I don't know if we will be doing a hangout or if we will be organizing something. I don't know.
Okay. Okay.
And well, what we're actually going to do, the same that we just did tonight, which was you made a video about the same mission, the different missions using the same footage, and then you made a second video, this one being the same subject but in English. We're going to do the same. We're going to do one hangout in Spanish for the Spanish world and the same hangout in English for the English world. I don't know. We'll do them.
Perfect.
Yeah.
In fact, the last show that I made live in my main channel, a guy who works with Santos tell me about that the Santos was looking that the show on live, and he trying to set up, you know, like some hangout with him. So, like I always tell you, if you like, I can participate. So,
well, it will
have that
be
in mind.
It will be in about 4 hours time, so I don't know.
Maybe you I going to stay working right now because I need to deliver some work tomorrow, and I have the last hours looking the Globebuster show and then make this hangout. So maybe you can catch me awake.
You will be awake.
What time is it there in Argentina?
11 and a half in the night.
Still a decent hour.
Yeah. I can hear your voice, a little tired voice, Oliver.
Yeah.
Okay, guys, I think we have a great show. Thanks to Oliver to join us, and to you, Antonio, because if you are not going to participate on this hangout, maybe I didn't do it.
Oh no, come on. It's good. It's good. Anyway, I like to learn. Like I always say, I like to learn, and I learned.
Me too, man. Me too. So.
Yep. Great hangout, guys.
Goodbye, Oliver.
Hey.
Have a nice astral projection, my friend.
Thanks. Good night, guys.
Oliver, before you go, do you want to do a hangout with me sometime?
Yeah, sure, man.
Some of the more mellow things about the flat Earth. You know, like you were mentioning the consciousness and those aspects, the awareness aspect. You know.
Sure.
And you too, Iru. If we do it in English, if it goes well, then we can maybe do another one in Spanish. You know.
Perfect.
So
sure.
I think it's good for the English speakers to see Spanish speakers speaking English, because then it's less unfamiliar territory for them. You know. They go, dude, it's not so hard. So, you know, it is hard, but, you know, it's good to give it the illusion, you know?
Yeah, just hit me up on Facebook, I think, or whatever.
Yeah, all right, cool.
Okay.
Yeah.
Bye-bye.
Talk to you soon, guys. Bye.
Bye.
Hasta luego.
And ciao, my friend. And this is with this I cut off, but this is the, you know, this kind of image with the witch. In fact, I like, because when you're talking about this type of character, it's called witch, right? And the same word is for, say, which day of the week you, for example, you have the same pronunciation. English,
the language, the English language is the one that's the most well adapted for slavery. That's why
Exacto.
instructions, manuals, instructions like war instructions, manual, electrical equipment, it's the most concise. It's the one where you can explain things the most briefly, because it's created, the language was molded for instructions. You know, Spanish was not made for instructions.
No,
Spanish
totally.
was made to describe things,
Yeah.
you know?
Yeah,
So,
exactly.
yeah, so with English, you've got spell, you know, dude, you know, we could carry on for hours. We'll
Yeah,
talk
yeah,
another time.
I know that, man. I going
All right.
to, I just going to finish putting this. You know, because I like to. This is to boys, to children's, children's, and this is to adults, and the same spell. You know, that is that is what's happening here.
Yeah,
So,
absolutely. Okay.
Antonio,
Hasta-
thanks a lot, man. I'm going to cut off you because if not, you're never gonna leave it.
Yes.
Goodbye, my friend.
Ciao.
See you tomorrow.
Yes.
Bye bye.
Bye.
So, people in the chat, thanks to all to share us in this first English hangouts. So I think was really great, and I'm going to switch to Spanish language. Así que muchas gracias, muchachos, muchachas, por el directo. La verdad que 127 personas en el canal secundario, que apenas hay 4000 suscriptos, es prácticamente un lujo. Vi que estaba el maestro de Hasta lo Más Alto, mucha gente, o sea, la mayoría de la gente del habla hispana, lo cual agradezco muchísimo que ya se han bancado tanto tiempo hablando en el inglés, y encima el inglés que hablo yo particularmente, porque el de Oliver es bastante ortodoxo, prolijo, al estilo Oliver justamente. El de Antonio, bueno, vive en Inglaterra, ¿no? El mío es un Span English que va mejorando, yo sé que va mejorando. De hecho estoy practicando un poco para la conferencia, así que digamos que de eso se trata también, tener un poco de estos hangouts. Y como dije al principio, tal vez en el inglés no se entendió mucho, pero también mi motivación de hacer hangouts en inglés viene un poco también en la forma de agradecer a toda la gente que contribuyó económicamente para comprar el pasaje, más allá de que un montón de gente contribuye de otra forma, no necesariamente económicamente, pero quería hacer un poco de la información que presento siempre en castellano también en inglés, porque hay un montón de cosas que no están en inglés, de las que yo investigo, como también hay un montón de cosas en inglés que no hay en castellano, pero yo de alguna manera siempre me encargo de traer la información de afuera del habla inglesa y mostrárselas a ustedes, así que quería hacer más o menos lo mismo, pero a la inversa. Saludos a todos. Estos horarios son más amenos que la madrugada, claramente, maestro. McCarthy lo dice, el falso Paul. Saludos a todos, en especial a los productores de materia audiovisual desvelados. Dale. Hello Iru and all, dice Wake the Sheeple. I don't know if you just come into the show, man. We are finished, but this show was entirely in English, so you can see it from the beginning. Se entendió perfecto, dice acá el maestro del canal MB. Y bueno, nada, muchachos, un placer haber estado en este primer directo en el canal secundario. Así que gracias a todos los espectadores. Nos vemos en la semana con un hangout en castellano, que tengo acá preparado un par de cositas para mostrarles. Saludos gigantesco, nos vemos en la semana.